Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Mothers will always enjoy receiving artwork from their kids, even after they get to be adults. So today we are going to paint loose florals for our moms for Mother's Day. I am making an 8x10 painting, but it would also make a great 5x7 card if you'd prefer to do that. You'll just need to go down a size or two on the first brush we use if you're going to make a card. This is a very loose floral, so there's no need to fret if you're new to watercolors. This is a carefree painting. The style is not meant to be precise or perfect. The more relaxed you are, the better. Here's a quick look at what we're going to paint so you'll know where we're headed. I have 3 cups of water today, one for my greens, one for my pinks, and one for just clear water, since I am going to be doing a very loose painting. I'm also using my size 10 for the balloons, so mix up whatever pinks you would like. You will need a light, a medium, and a dark. So I'm using kind of a peach wash for the first petal. And I don't want to get too close to the edge, but I do want fairly large blooms. So think about your midline on your paper. So I want a bloom over here, a bloom here, and then one that's kind of looking downward. So I need to think about each horizontal and vertical midline to try and get it fairly centered. To me, that's the hardest part. Even when I draw it out, it's still difficult. So I want the first one to be about right here. And I'm going to do it loose and not too big. We are going to let this, clean water, we're going to let this bleed a little bit into the background. So I'm putting clean water out in the background and then just barely touching that pigment so that it will bleed out. And then you can spread it around a little bit if you want to, just to encourage it. Let's go for the next one. Let's have one over here. And because this is going to have translucent layers, that's why we're doing this first one very lightly. If you get too much, you just pick it up. Now let that one bleed out a little bit. So clean water out where you want it to go, and then just touch it in a couple of spots. You can move it around a bit if you want. You can add more pigment to it if it's not bleeding enough. And we can soften those edges by adding more water, or by taking a paper towel and dabbing it while it's still wet. Let's do the one that's over here facing downward. Now that those are completely dry, let's go back with the second layer of a little bit deeper color. And we'll do this other part of the flower, just moving the brush around. do this one. We want little ruffled edges. Nothing too smooth or precise. It's the way I like to do it anyway. And you can put a little extra out here. This one that's facing down, I think I'll go to this side. So see, we have light, medium, and dark tones. And I'm going to take a little bit deeper tone and add it while it's still wet so that those edges will soften. And let's add a little clean water to this. Soften those edges out. This one's drying, so I better quickly get in here and add some water. Before this dries too much, I am going to switch to a smaller brush and do the stems. So I'm using undersea green and olive green. And I'll do this one first since it looks like it's drying the most. And we want our stems to be crooked and bent, kind of sketchy. Make sure we have lots of tones here. Some deeper green and some of the lighter yellowy green. Especially be darker underneath it. So I'll put a little undersea green here on the underside. And we can also have that bleed out while it's still wet. Let's just have a few little places for this green to bleed out. Just a little bit. We don't want it to be overpowering. But if it's already dried and you're trying to make it bleed out, just go back and touch it a little bit. Now redraw that line just a tiny bit, and that will make it bleed out more. Add a little bit of the deeper. Okay. So I feel like this side is a little heavier than this side visually. So I'm going to add a little bit of clean water over here. So I am going to allow this to bleed over here a little bit, and that will add a little weight to this side of the painting. And we can kind of ground it a little bit, you know, so that these aren't quite floating out in midair. I can just add a little bit of weight to the bottom and to this side, and it's very subtle. But it does the trick. Now it feels more balanced. I want to add a little bit deeper tones in here. I think this lightened up quite a bit, so I'm taking just clean water and very gently wetting that. And now I'm going to come back with some strong pigment and drop it in and allow it. I'm gonna add a little bit more water because I feel like that did not move as much as I wanted it to. Just want it to blend into this area. Okay, that's a lot of water. There we go. That's what I wanted. See that nice spread there? That's what I was going for. And this is clean water because I want to soften that. And clean that up a little bit. Just soften that up. There we go. Now let's do the same thing over here. Let's find a spot where it could use a little help. We're going to moisten that, and don't do it too much because then you will disturb that first layer and it will start coming off and it will make some odd spots. Terrific. Okay. And let's do it over here. So my brush was, I forgot to rinse my brush, and so I already had pigment on it, but that's okay. Because I will grab that straight pigment, saturated pigment, and drop it in. Again. And that works just fine. See how much that brightens that whole thing? Go back to my clean water now. I'm gonna dab it. I don't want too much, but I want to soften that edge. before it dries too much. Yeah. There's a little area where I did not touch with the water, so we'll spread that back out. Now, maybe before this dries all the way, add a little more. And you can even grab a little Vendame brown or maybe Mars black and mix it to give that deep pink a darker tone. Oops, sorry. Just right there at the base. One last finishing touch. Thanks for painting with me today. I bet your mother is going to love it. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already for more videos like this coming up soon.